Hello all, welcome to Genius channel. We'll discuss the remaining questions from NDA to physics. NDA to GAT. Okay, from GAT we are going to discuss physics. Okay, so remaining questions you are seeing. So see the question number 140. Question number 140. A tennis ball is thrown in the vertically upward direction and the ball attains a maximum height of 20 meters. The ball was thrown approximately with an upward velocity of 80 meter per second, 12 meter per second, 16 meter per second, 20 meter per second. So what is the correct answer? Okay. So this is a very direct question, isn't it? So a tennis ball is thrown vertically upward direction, isn't it? Vertically upward direction. Okay. And the ball attains maximum height. Okay. So if you are going for the equation V square is equal to U square plus 2AS, where V is final velocity, U is initial velocity, A is acceleration, S is distance. Okay. So here the ball is thrown upward and it reaches a maximum height of 20 meters, isn't it? So S, here it is H. Okay. Now it is drawn upward. So acceleration is what? Acceleration is minus G. G is acceleration due to gravity. Because something is thrown upward means the acceleration that is acting will be acceleration due to gravity. So A is equal to minus G. So how can you rewrite? Also one more thing, when it reaches maximum height, its final velocity is equal to 0. We are throwing some initial velocity. When it reaches maximum height, its final velocity is equal to 0. So U is 0 is equal to U square minus 2GH. That will be the equation. So from this you can write U square is equal to 2GH. And this H is given. What is that? It's what they have given. They have given maximum height as 20 meters, isn't it? So U square is equal to 2 into G. I am taking it. Actually, the G is what? 9.8 meter per second square. So here I am taking it as 10 into H. What is H? H is 20. So what you get? You get 400. So U square is equal to 400. So what is U? Initial velocity. That is 20 meter per second. Option D. 20 meter per second. Very direct question. So when you are throwing a body upward, the acceleration which is acting is acceleration due to gravity. And when it reaches the maximum height, its final velocity is equal to 0. Then the equation changes like this. Okay. So 20 meter per second, option D is the correct answer. Okay. So we'll go to the next question. Okay. Question number 141. Question number 141. An object of mass 200 grams. An object of mass 200 grams possesses 100 joule kinetic energy. The object must be moving with a speed of. That is also a direct question. An object of mass 2000 grams, isn't it? So mass is given as 2000 grams, which is equal to 2 kilograms, isn't it? Now, its kinetic energy they have given as 100 joule. We know the equation for kinetic energy. What is that? Kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. That is given as 100 joule. So very direct question. So half m is 2, isn't it? V, velocity is what? We have to find out. V square is equal to 100. So just solve this. V square is equal to 100. So V is equal to 10 meter per second. V is equal to 10 meter per second. Very direct question. So kinetic energy, just apply the direct formula. Kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. Now tell me what is the equation for potential energy. So the question, this question's answer is 10 meter per second. Okay. So along with this, can you just tell me what is the equation for potential energy? Potential energy is equal to mgh. Kinetic energy is equal to half mv square. Okay, so option A is the correct answer. So moving to the next question. So one thing I need to say is, whenever you are getting some question, you have to check whether that is in the SI units. Okay. So here it is in 2000 grams. So if you take 2000 grams and do, that will be wrong, because every time you have to convert that into SI unit. So that's why 2000 gram is converted to 2 kilogram. Okay. For doing the problem. So we'll go to the next question. Next physics question, that is question number 145. Question number 145. The unit of the ratio between thrust and impulse. The unit of the ratio between thrust and impulse is same as that of. Okay, can you just check what is that? So for doing this, we need what? We need to know what is, first of all, what is thrust, what is impulse. Okay, so thrust is nothing but pressure divided by, force divided by area, isn't it? Pressure is nothing but force divided by area. Okay. Now, what you need? Impulse, isn't it? Impulse. What is impulse? Impulse is force into delta T, isn't it? Force into delta T. Okay. So here pressure is equal to, pressure is equal to force by area, not thrust, isn't it? Pressure is equal to force by area, that is same as thrust by area, isn't it? Pressure is equal to force by area, that is same as thrust by area. Remember this relation? Okay. So from this, what we can write? We can write force is equal to thrust, isn't it? Force is equal to thrust. So we have what you need. You need the relation between thrust and impulse. So thrust divided by impulse, isn't it? Thrust divided by impulse is what they are asking. So thrust is nothing but force divided by impulse is nothing but F into delta T, isn't it? So what you'll get? You'll get time inverse. You'll get time inverse. So time inverse, that is the unit you are getting. So time inverse is the unit of what? What is the reciprocal of time period? So the time inverse is the unit of frequency, isn't it? Because we know frequency is what? Frequency is 1 by time period, isn't it? So we can write 1 by time period, isn't it? So unit of frequency you can write as time inverse. Okay. So here they are asking what is the ratio between thrust and impulse. What unit you will get? So answer is unit is frequency. Frequency. Unit of frequency is what you are getting. So only you need to know the equation of thrust and equation of impulse. Substitute that, you will be getting the answer. So moving to the next question. Question number 146. Which one of the following figures correctly shows the path of ray of light through a glass prism? So which figure is correct? That is what you have to check. So this is a glass prism. This is a glass prism. So then first of all, we'll do the normal to these surfaces. So this is the normal to this surface. And if I take this surface, normal will be like this, isn't it? So these are the two normals. Okay. So normal to, second, I'll draw again. Normal to this surface and normal to this surface. Okay. So now with respect to normal, we can see how a ray enters, what happens if a ray is entering, isn't it? So first of all, if a ray is entering like this, what happens? It is entering from rarer medium to denser medium, isn't it? Glass is obviously denser medium than air. So here it is air. So this is rarer medium. So when it enters from rarer medium to denser medium, it will bend towards the normal, Okay, it will bend towards the normal. Now what happens? Now the light is going from denser medium to rarer medium, isn't it? Denser medium to rarer medium. So if I am drawing the normal at this point, this is the normal, isn't it? Normal at this point means this will be the normal. Okay, so then what happens? It is moving from denser to rarer. Okay, so it will bend away from the normal. So I'll mark with another color. It will bend away from the normal. Okay, so now see which is the correct one. So obviously this is not, because here refraction should happen. So that means it should bend. Here also refraction has not happened. That is also wrong. Here refraction is happening here, but refraction is not happening here. So that is also wrong. So answer is option A. So whenever it reaches separation of surfaces, it should undergo refraction, isn't it? Whenever it reaches the surface of separation, it should have refraction. Okay, so refraction itself is bending of light rays when it travels from one medium to another. So here, see, it is bending at this point. Then here, it is again bending at this point. Okay, so option A is the correct one. Okay, now to answer this question, you have to know two things. When light rays travels from rarer to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. When it is traveling from denser to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. Light rays bend away from the normal. Okay, so those two things you have to remember. So answer is option A. Correct figure is option T. Okay. Because here bending is happening. Okay. So moving to the next question. Question number 147. Question number 147. When a light beam falls on a triangular glass prism, a band of colors is obtained. Which one of the following statements is correct in this regard? Okay. So what experiment they are saying? Light beam falls on a triangular glass prism. Light beam falls on a triangular glass prism and you are obtaining a band of colors. Okay. Then they have given some observations. So before reading this, what phenomenon they are trying to explain? That is nothing but dispersion, isn't it? Dispersion. So a light ray is falling on glass prism. What happens? Dispersion happens, isn't it? Light rays split. White light split into its component colors. That is known as dispersion, isn't it? Dispersion. Okay, so 7 colors we will be obtaining. Violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Vibgyor, isn't it? So which is bending more? Violet, Violet is bending more. Red is bending least. Bending least. Okay. Now let's see. So one more thing I have to say. Which is having more wavelength? Red is having more wavelength, lambda. Violet is having less wavelength. Okay. Now read the statements. Red light bends the most as the refractive index of glass for red light is greatest. So that is wrong because red does not bend most. Red is bending least. Red light bends the most as soon as refractive index. So as the refractive index of glass for red light is lowest. So that is also wrong. Violet bends the most. So there are two options with violet bends the most. Okay. Violet bends the most as the refractive index of glass for violet light is greatest. Violet light bends the most as the refractive index of glass for violet is lowest. So when does bending happens? When does more bending happens? When the refractive index is greatest or when the refractive index is lowest. When do that happens? Okay. So when the refractive index is greatest, what happens? The violet light should bends the most. So the answer is option C. Answer is option C. That is violet light bends the most as the refractive index of the glass for violet light is the greatest. Okay. So answer is option C. So moving to the next question. So here the answer is option C. Question number 148. Question number 148. Image of an object formed by a plane mirror is. Image of an object formed by a plane mirror is. So that is very easy question. Erect, real, larger, erect, virtual, same size, inverted, virtual, same size, inverted, real, smaller. What is the correct answer? Yeah, we know that when we see through a plane mirror, always we'll get erect image, isn't it? So erect, virtual, and same size. Erect, virtual, and same size. Very easy question, option B. Okay, so we have already studied this. When what are the properties of image formed by a plane mirror? Image formed by a plane mirror will be always erect, virtual, and that of same size. Okay, so answer is option B. Next question. Question number 149. Question number 149. Which one of the following is not a conservative force? Which one of the following is not a conservative force? Frictional force, electric force, gravitational force, spring force. Okay. So tell me which is the conservative force? Which is not a conservative force? They are asking which is not a conservative force. So electric force, that is conservative. Gravitational force is conservative. Spring force is conservative. So the force that is not conservative is frictional force. Frictional force is the force that is not conservative. Next question. Question number 150. Question number 150. A negative work is done when an applied force and corresponding displacement are. A negative work is done when an applied force and corresponding displacement S are. So tell me. See, we know that W is equal to F dot S, or it is Fs cos theta. Fs cos theta. W is equal to Fs cos theta. So when cos theta is equal to -1, that is when theta is equal to 180 degree, what you get? we'll get what? We'll get W is equal to minus Fs because cos theta is equal to -1. That is when theta is equal to 180 degree. So force and displacement are having an angle between them as 180 degree. 180 degree means anti-parallel. Anti-parallel like this. So when force and displacement are anti-parallel, that means the angle between them is 180 degree. In that case, we can say what? We can say force and displacement are anti-parallel. In that case, work is negative. Work is negative. Okay, so the answer is anti-parallel. Now, see the other options also. Perpendicular. When it is perpendicular, what is the condition? That means F dot S. W is equal to F dot S. That is F S cos 90, isn't it? So it is cos 90 0. So when they are perpendicular, work is equal to 0. Then when F and S are in same direction, W is equal to Fs cos 0. When they are in same direction, so it is Fs. So maximum positive work done. Here work is 0, here it is positive, then negative. When theta is equal to 180 degree, that is when it is anti-parallel to each other. Anti-parallel to each other. So thank you all. See you in another video. Thank you so much.